Well, thank you, Mel. This is a very important topic, and I have Courtney and Xenia with me here on the streets, and we're just going to ask them for their perspective and also their experience with mental health. And so, ladies, is this an issue that is talked about amongst the young generation?
I think it's talked about for sure. The problem is we're not dealing with it in a way that actually helps young people process, let alone the older generations. So I work in a diaspora context, or I did work in a diaspora context, and even though my home church has a great pastoral team that is recognizing some of the signs, our young people are feeling like we talk about this, but I don't know how to move forward. So, you know, in working with some of the youth, lots of mental health issues. You know, we see 2 summers ago, I brought something like 8 or 9 youth to the hospital because they had a tangible plan to die by suicide.
Right.
And so that's really hard, and that's just kind of the surface of it. We hear it when it escalates, but we don't always catch it at the forefront.
Okay. And so when you say that we're talking about it, but it's not really it's not a productive conversation, how can we move from just talking about it and just regurgitating the same issues to moving into a position where we are actually being effective in our ministry?
I think part of it has to do with figuring out and learning how to sit with each other in it. I mean, this is real hard. It is scary and difficult, but the more that we choose to just be with people in it and not be overwhelmed by the mystery of it or the excuses for why it's happened.
Is there a stigma still? I was just going to say, is there still a stigma?
We got to get over that. And I personally think that we need to do more lament as a church. We just need to sit down and cry out to God. I think it was Miroslav Volf who said something about our rage is actually the safest place for our rage is before God, in the form of lament. That is where we can express our heart and our soul, our sorrow, and be met with God's love for us in those spaces. And I think also we need to do it communally together to say, no, I see you. I don't have answers. But I want to be with you.
Well, what are some of those, I mean, you both seem to have experience with dealing with this in your ministries. What are some of the issues that you see that are coming up, the conversations, the complaints, or the concerns that the young people are bringing to you?
So in my context, some of it is language and culture. They feel that when they go home, their parents don't really understand them. In my specific culture, I'm Chinese Canadian. A lot of kids will talk about pressures that they have for school and extracurriculars and to succeed, to make a better life for their parents. So that American dream kind of still holds for my context.
It's a real hard one. I mean, I think for me, it's a combination. We can't. It's about being with each other, but we also need medication and we also need real good therapy.
Okay, so there's
all those things are actually really okay to be working together. And thank goodness we have a country that provides some really good professionals.
That, and I think that's a great thing to kind of throw in there in terms of a practical outcome. That there are resources there, and the church can do better in partnering with the social agencies and the mental.
The church has got to get behind it.
Okay.
Well, even that, to add on to that, I think most of our pastors, our lay leaders, our frontline people need mental health first aid.
Okay, so we can, again, it's about learning about these conversations, what's happening, and then coming alongside people. Well, thank you, Xenia. Thank you, Courtney.
Thanks.
Back to you, Mel.